Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're diving into Morgan Housel's The Psychology of Money, a book that really flips the script on how we think about wealth. It's not about those get-rich-quick schemes or stock-picking secrets.
No, not at all.
This one dives into the mindset behind money, that psychology piece.
Yeah, and what's so interesting about Housel's take is that he really emphasizes those, I guess, less glamorous aspects
Right.
of financial success,
Uh,
He talks about patience, discipline, understanding your own psychology, really.
it's so easy to get caught up in the hype.
Yeah.
You want to chase returns. You're comparing yourself to others.
Oh, absolutely.
But Housel, he reminds us that this is a marathon, not a sprint. And speaking of marathons, one of the first things that really struck me was his take on, luck and risk. He uses this example of Bill Gates,
Oh, yeah.
Microsoft, billions of dollars.
Yeah.
But he points out that Gates' success wasn't solely due to his brilliance.
Mm-hmm.
It's like having access to computers at a young age, that was a lucky break. That played a huge role in his journey.
It's such a humbling reminder, too, I think. We often overestimate how much skill is involved, and we underestimate the role of chance.
Yeah.
It makes you think, what if Gates hadn't had that early exposure to computers? It could have been a totally different story, right?
Completely different.
Yeah.
Makes you realize, maybe we shouldn't beat ourselves up so much.
Yeah.
When things don't go our way.
Mm.
Sometimes it's just bad luck,
Absolutely.
plain and simple.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, we should also be a little more humble about our wins, recognizing that luck might have played a part there too.
For sure. And recognizing the role of luck, I think, it helps us be more forgiving
All right.
of ourselves and others. But it also encourages us to, focus on what we can control,
Right.
which is our effort, our decisions, our reactions to whatever happens.
Okay, so we've got this element of luck. It's swirling around out there.
Right.
But then there's this other big idea Housel dives into.
Mm.
It's the difference between being rich and being wealthy.
Yes.
And I always thought those were basically the same thing.
Right.
But he really challenges that assumption.
Oh, he does. He paints this vivid picture. Being rich, it's like having a fancy sports car.
Okay.
It's flashy, it grabs attention,
Yeah.
but it might not be the most practical or reliable choice in the long run.
Interesting.
Whereas wealth, it's more like having, I think he says, a well-maintained car.
Okay.
Fuel efficient, gets you where you need to go, no problem. Doesn't break down. It's about financial security, freedom, control over your time.
It's that, invisible wealth.
Yes.
That money you have tucked away gives you
Yes.
options.
Peace of mind.
Peace of mind, exactly. You might not have the latest and greatest everything,
Right.
but you have the security to, weather a storm.
Exactly. Think about it. You could have this huge income, be rich on paper, but if you're spending it all, just keeping up appearances, you're not truly wealthy.
I see what you mean.
True wealth, it's about that solid financial foundation that supports your goals,
Right.
your values. It's that freedom to make choices. And they align with your priorities, not just your paycheck.
This whole idea of wealth as freedom is so powerful.
It is.
It's not about the stuff.
No.
It's about the ability to live life on your own terms.
Yeah.
And speaking of building that freedom, Housel talks a lot about the magic of compounding. This is where things get really interesting, especially for those of us who aren't, rolling in dough right now.
Oh, yeah. Compound. It's like a snowball rolling downhill.
Okay.
Start small, but as it gains momentum, it grows exponentially.
Wow.
He uses Warren Buffett as the example.
Right.
So Buffett's immense wealth, it didn't come from, risky bets or overnight success. No, it was consistent investing, letting those returns compound over decades. You know that saying, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
The second best time is today.
That's a good one.
So even if you're just starting out, even if you can only invest a little each month, the key is to start early. Be consistent.
So even if it's a small amount.
Yeah. Think of it like this. If you invested just $100 a month, starting at age 25, and earned, say, an average annual return of 7%, by the time you hit 65, you'd have over $280,000.
That's incredible.
It is, right? That's the power of compounding. Your money is basically earning money on top of the money it's already earned.
It really highlights how time is your biggest ally
Oh, for sure.
when it comes to building wealth. But I think one of the biggest challenges for most people, I know for me, is dealing with those emotions.
Oh, yeah.
They can derail even the best laid financial plans. And Housel talks about greed and fear
Yes.
and how they can wreak havoc.
They really can. Greed is that voice, right? The one that whispers, just one more investment, just a little bit more
I
risk.
don't know that voice.
It pushes you, makes you chase those big wins, even if it means putting your money in jeopardy.
Right.
And then you have fear, the voice that screams, sell, sell, get out before you lose everything.
Oh, yeah. Panic sets in.
It can, and it makes you make decisions based on panic,
Not reason.
not reason at all.
I know I've definitely fallen prey to both.
I think we all have at some point.
Greed and fear, yeah, at different points in my financial journey. It's so easy to get swept up
Yeah.
in the hype of a market boom or to panic when things take a downturn. But Housel has some great advice for, navigating this roller coaster.
Oh, he does. He emphasizes defining what enough means to you.
Enough.
Personally, what are your goals? What level of wealth would give you that sense of security and
Mm.
freedom? Once you understand what enough looks like, it's easier to resist.
Resist the temptation.
Yeah, the temptation to chase more or to panic when things get a little rocky. You can create a plan that aligns with your values, your goals, and you can stick to it even when your emotions are saying do something else.
This is so crucial.
It is.
Having that internal compass, it helps you stay grounded,
Yeah.
make rational decisions, especially when the world feels like a whirlwind. One thing that really resonated with me is Housel's point that personal finance is, well, personal.
It is.
There's no one-size-fits-all approach.
Yeah.
Your financial decisions, they should be shaped by your own experiences, values, goals.
Absolutely. Your financial journey, it's going to be different from everybody else's, your neighbors, your coworkers, even your best friends.
Right.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
What matters is that you're making informed decisions, ones that are aligned with your individual circumstances, aspirations.
So, for example, someone who grew up during a recession, they might be extra cautious
They might.
with investments. Even if it seems overly conservative to others,
Right.
their experience has shaped how they see things.
Exactly. Or someone who really values adventure, travel, might prioritize investing in experiences.
Rather than material possessions.
Yeah. It's all about understanding your own financial psychology,
Yeah.
recognizing what influences your choices, making decisions that feel right for you.
And this leads us to what Housel considers the real treasures.
Okay.
Freedom and time. It's easy to get caught up in the pursuit of money for its own sake. But he reminds us, the ultimate goal of wealth isn't luxury cars or mansions.
No.
It's about having the freedom to do what you want, when you want, with whom you want.
Think about it. If you could design your perfect day, what would it look like? Would you be stuck at a job you hate just to pay the bills? Or would you be spending your time, with loved ones, pursuing hobbies?
Traveling the world.
Yeah, traveling the world, making a difference in your community.
Money is simply a tool to unlock those possibilities. It's about buying back your time, creating a life where you're not beholden to, a job you dread or financial stress that keeps you up at night.
Exactly. It's about having those financial resources to create a life where you're in control,
Right.
where you're not constantly trading hours for dollars. You're living a life that's rich in experiences, relationships, personal fulfillment.
And that's what we're all really striving for, right?
Mhm.
A life that feels authentic,
Yeah.
joyful,
Yeah.
meaningful. Money is just one piece of that puzzle,
Yeah.
but it's an important piece. And understanding the psychology behind it, our relationship with money,
Yeah.
can empower us to use it more effectively, to create the lives we want.
One of the things that really stuck with me from the book is just how important patience is.
Yeah.
Hauser really drives that point home, that building wealth. It's a long game. It's not about getting rich quick schemes.
Right.
It's about making those smart decisions consistently over time and just letting that compounding magic do its work.
It's easy to get caught up in the hype, like you said, the latest trends, or you feel that pressure to keep up with everyone else.
Oh, absolutely.
But he brings us back down to earth a little bit.
He does. It's like planting a seed and watching it grow.
Okay.
You can't rush it.
You got to nurture it.
You nurture it, you give it time, you got to be patient. And same with building wealth, It's
Right.
about those consistent investments, managing risk wisely, letting your money grow over time.
It really is a marathon, not a sprint. But how do you stay patient
Right.
when you're constantly seeing those messages about make money fast?
It's tough, especially in this culture. Instant gratification, everything's at our fingertips. But building wealth, it takes time, discipline, a willingness to delay that gratification. And he also talks about, those behavioral pitfalls.
Yeah.
They can totally sabotage your progress.
Like what?
Impulsive behavior, overconfidence, Short-term thinking. It's like those landmines.
Okay, yeah.
On your path to financial success, you gotta watch out for those. They can really trip you up, derail your progress if you're not careful.
So impulsive behavior, what would that look like?
That might lead you to make a really rash investment decision
Got it.
based purely on emotion, not logic. Overconfidence could cause you to, I don't know, underestimate the risks
Yeah.
involved in a particular investment. And then short-term thinking, that might stop you from seeing the benefits of saving and investing consistently, that long-term perspective.
So how do we avoid those pitfalls? How do we make sure we're being rational, making informed decisions?
Well, he suggests that first you have to be aware of your own financial psychology.
Self-awareness.
Self-awareness,
Yeah.
yeah. What are those triggers for you? What are your biases? Once you kind of understand your own tendencies, then you can start to develop strategies, to manage them. So let's say you're impulsive.
Okay.
Maybe you put a cooling off period in place
Interesting.
before you make any big financial decisions. Or if you're prone to overconfidence, maybe you seek a second opinion
Yeah, makes sense.
from a trusted advisor. The key is be mindful of your own psychology and put those safeguards in place to protect yourself from yourself almost.
To protect yourself from your own biases. It's all about being self-aware, having a plan
Yeah.
to navigate those tricky situations.
Yeah, and that leads us back to the financial plan, right? A well-defined plan, it can guide your decisions, help you stay on track, even when things get tempting or you run into those unexpected challenges. And speaking of unexpected, Housel talks about flexibility too.
Yeah.
Because life, it throws those curveballs, and it's so important to have that cushion, to help you weather those storms.
It could be anything, job loss, medical emergency.
Even something like a pandemic, you never know. And financial flexibility, it's not just about having an emergency fund.
Yes.
It's about having the resources to adapt to those changing circumstances
Mm-hmm.
without having to completely derail your goals.
Right.
Like imagine you're saving for a down payment on your dream home. You've been so diligent,
Yeah.
and suddenly, boom, you're laid off. Without that flexibility, that setback could just crush your plans. But if you've got savings or investment,
You have options.
you've got that breathing room, you can navigate that difficult period without sacrificing your goal of owning a home.
Makes sense. Having that safety net, that breathing room.
Yeah.
It allows you to make choices that reflect your values, not just your immediate circumstances.
Exactly.
And it reduces that stress.
It does.
Gives you the confidence to pursue those goals, even when things are tough. But let's talk about happiness,
Okay.
because that's often at the heart of our financial anxieties, right?
Yeah.
Does more money actually equal more happiness?
Yeah, that's the age-old question. Philosophers, economists have been debating that forever.
And Housel tackles it head on in this book,
He does, and he challenges that assumption.
that wealth equals happiness.
Exactly. While financial security, it's definitely important for well-being, he says, true happiness, it comes from things that money can't buy.
Oh, interesting. So it's not just about how much you have in your bank account.
It's not. It's about meaningful relationships, a sense of purpose, those experiences that bring you joy, and that feeling of control.
Control over your time, your choices.
Right. So it's about finding that balance between financial well-being and all those other essential parts of a fulfilling life.
Absolutely. He encourages us to build a life that's rich in experiences, connections, personal fulfillment. You're not just dollars and cents.
Not just the numbers in your account.
One thing I always struggle with, I think a lot of people do, is the comparison trap.
Oh, the comparison trap. Yes.
It's so easy to get caught up in comparing yourself to others,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to finances. And social media doesn't help. It's a constant stream of, highlight reels.
It is. Everyone's vacations, their cars, their seemingly perfect lives.
And you're sitting there feeling inadequate.
Absolutely. You feel envious of what they have. But Housel reminds us that everyone's journey is unique.
Different starting points.
Different goals, different challenges, even different definitions of success. Comparing yourself, it's not just unproductive, it can be really harmful
Yeah.
to your self-esteem and just your overall well-being.
So how do we escape that trap? How do we stay focused on our own path and not get caught up in keeping up with everyone else?
He suggests that it's all about defining what enough means to you. What are your goals? What level of income or wealth would allow you to live the life you want? What are the things that truly matter to you? The experiences, the relationships, the values, the stuff that brings you joy.
I like that, the stuff that brings you joy.
So once you understand your own values, your aspirations, then you can start to create a plan that's aligned with those things. You're not chasing some external standard of success that might not even be meaningful to you. You're creating a roadmap that supports your definition of a fulfilling life.
It's your own definition.
Your own definition, exactly. It's about focusing on your progress, celebrating your achievements, and defining those measures of success for yourself. Don't let the noise of other people's journeys distract you from your own.
Yeah, it's so empowering to think that way, like defining your own success. I think that's something a lot of people struggle with.
Oh, excel.
We're constantly bombarded with all these messages about, what we should want, how much money we should be making, what our lives should look like.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in that societal pressure. But, Housel reminds us that success isn't about keeping up with the Joneses or achieving some, arbitrary level of wealth or status.
Right.
It's about living a life that's aligned with your values, your passions, and your own definition of what a rich and meaningful life actually looks like for you.
Yeah, so instead of trying to fit into someone else's mold, we need to take a step back.
For sure.
Ask ourselves what truly matters to me, what brings me joy, purpose, fulfillment.
And once you've figured those things out, those core values, then you can start to think about, okay, how do I use money as a tool to build a life that reflects those things? It's about aligning your financial goals with your personal values, not the other way around.
I love that it's like this total shift in perspective.
It is.
We're not chasing money for its own sake.
Yeah.
We're thinking about how can we use it to actually create a life that we love.
Yeah. Right. A life that feels authentic and fulfilling.
Not just one that looks good, on Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. And that reminds me, Housel also talks about the long game
Oh, yeah.
when it comes to our finances.
In a world that's obsessed with instant gratification, that's tough.
It is.
We're always seeing these messages about make money fast, achieve success overnight, get rich quick.
Yeah. But Housel reminds us that real wealth, the kind that gives you lasting security and fulfillment,
Right.
that's built over time.
It takes time.
It takes consistent, disciplined effort. Think of it like building a house.
Okay.
You don't just slap it together overnight.
Yeah.
You need that solid foundation,
Yeah.
a good plan, and the patience to see it through.
So it's delaying gratification, making those small, consistent investments, and understanding that building wealth is a process that unfolds over time.
It's not about chasing those, flashy short-term wins. It's about making choices today that are going to set you up for success years down the road.
Exactly. It's about having that vision.
Yeah.
Understanding that the small actions you take today are going to add up over time
They do. They compound.
and lead to those bigger results later on.
Yeah.
But let's be real for a second.
Okay.
One of the biggest challenges with money is all the uncertainty. The
Yeah.
financial world is unpredictable.
It is.
Even with the best plans, you can get thrown off course. Unexpected events happen.
It's true. So thinking about the future, it can be a bit overwhelming.
It can.
You just never know what's going to happen with the economy, the stock market, even in our own lives.
Right. So how do you make those decisions when you don't have a crystal ball?
Well, Housel says that uncertainty, it's just part of life.
It is.
You can't get rid of it completely. So instead of trying to predict the future, focus on what you can control.
Okay.
You can't control the market, but you can control your savings rate.
Right.
You can't control interest rates, but you can control your debt levels. You can't control the job market, but you can control your skills and your ability to adapt.
So it's about building that solid foundation, diversifying, and having a plan in place to deal with those ups and downs.
Exactly. Be prepared, not paralyzed by uncertainty.
Yeah.
One of the most powerful messages, I think, in the psychology of money is about gratitude and contentment.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get caught up in always wanting more, never feeling like you have enough.
Always striving for more.
It's like we're on this treadmill, constantly chasing the next shiny object.
Yeah. Never appreciating what we already have.
Exactly. But Housel reminds us that true happiness comes from being content with what we have.
It makes me think of those social media feeds.
Yeah.
Where everything is perfect. Everyone's lives look amazing.
And you're like, oh, I need that too.
Yeah. But comparison really is the thief of joy.
It is. When we're always comparing ourselves to others, we're never going to feel satisfied.
Right.
Instead, we need to focus on our own journey, our own progress, and our own definition of success.
It all comes back to that.
It does.
This idea of gratitude, contentment. It's so important, especially today, when we're constantly bombarded with messages about what we should buy, how we should look, how much money we should have.
Absolutely. And Housel's book is just such a good reminder
It is.
that true wealth isn't about the size of your bank account. It's about the richness of your life.
It really is.
It's about the things that money can't buy. Love, connection, purpose, a sense of fulfillment.
And when we're grateful for those things, we're less likely to get caught up in, wanting more, more, more.
Exactly. So as we wrap up our deep dive into the psychology of money, what are some key takeaways that people can actually apply to their own lives?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
What would you say are some of the biggest takeaways?
I think the biggest one is that money is a tool. It's not the end goal. It's
Ah,
about using that tool wisely to create a life that aligns with what's important to you.
your values.
Your passions, your definition of success. It's about building a life that feels fulfilling, not just one that looks good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, on paper, it's about understanding that this is a marathon, not a sprint. Patience, discipline, long-term perspective. Those are key.
Yeah.
And remembering that true wealth isn't about your possessions, it's about the richness of your life, the quality of your relationships, the experiences that bring you joy, and what you contribute to the world.
And if you haven't already, I highly recommend checking out Morgan Housel's The Psychology of Money. It's a game changer. You can actually find it for free with an Audible trial. The link is in the description. Don't forget to hit subscribe for more deep dives into fascinating topics.
Absolutely. And remember, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today.
That's a good one.
So start investing in your financial future now, and your future self will thank you for it.
That's it for our deep dive into the psychology of money. We hope you found it insightful and inspiring. Until next time, happy investing.